archive their dream schools like in the science, engineer, and arts. I myself comes from an engineer background, hold a Bachelor of Science from Tsinghua University, and a master degree in computer engineering from Santa Clara University. With about nearly 20 years of industry experience at companies such as Oracle, Apple, VMware, I'm very familiar with not only student school ranking, but these companies' internal rankings and hiring patterns as well. So this is our today's agenda, and here's the outline. We will talk about the programming language first, and then the programming courses in the high school, and what is the APCS and APCS principles. And next, we will talk about the USICO and other programming competitions. Then the applications project and research with the program's language you have. At the end, we'll talk about the college admission with CS major and non-CS majors. Okay, as people who register classes, we checked most of the students are in the 9th grade and above. So if you are the 9th grade, once you're in the high school, the school will give you like a big book talking about the California's subject required courses. We will call it A to G course. This is you need to finish for the subject required in order to go to a UC school. Even though this is UC is public schools used by California's UC and CSU systems, a lot of the private schools still using that as check. So as you know, the AP Computer Science A is belong to the category C. It's math. Can you guys mute it if not talking? Anyhow, let's start, continue. AP Computer Science Principle is belong to the science category. And Java, computer science honor like data structures or introduction to computer program. This is all the other courses covered in other schools. And all this belong to the elective, the G category. So we need to make sure this is from different category, even though it is honor classes, it's a data structure classes, but still it belong to the G level. Okay, now let's talk about the programming languages. Here's the list of the 5 languages that mostly popular at this time, like Java. Java mostly is used for APCS test, and then we use those as different programming competitions, or industry uses a lot of companies. I would say most of the companies currently using the Java programming for their languages. Python is basically is a scripting language. It is popular for the beginners and the small programs. And as I learned, as I know, currently a lot of the robotics part is also using the Pythons at the beginnings, because currently with more and more middle schoolers start the robotics learnings, doings, and then Python is a good languages that younger people can very easily get it in. So that's why they're currently developed a lot in using Python to work with the robotics. And C or C++, this language is frequently used in the robotic backend and also the programming competition. And Mr. Huang will cover this in detail about the C, C++, Python, or Java later on, but I will see one thing is C, C++ is mostly people were thinking it will be quicker and use it, you know, in the lower levels part. And R is the new languages and currently used for stats and mathematical modelings. A lot of data science people were using R language. JavaScript. JavaScript is mainly used in the HCI programming or front-end or web apps. You know, this is like a front-end languages used more often. Now let's welcome Mr. Huang to talk about the Java classes in R.
Hello, this is Huang. I work as software engineer in Bay Area for more than 20 years and teach high school students on coding, math, and science for 10 more years. Previously, I received MS Math from U of Washington and MS CS from U of Arizona and BS Math from National Taiwan University. Java is most widely used programming language, widely used in high school, later in college and workplace. Java is good for competition programming. In past years, I helped a bunch of students to achieve platinum in USACO, the top level using Java. Java has rich library, which makes it powerful for competition and is good for web applications. Android is Java. Java is also used to process backend data. CarrotJ robot, can you help? CarrotJ robot was designed by a Stanford professor. It provides an interesting way to guide beginners to learn Java programming. CarrotJ robot is used by a bunch of high schools here, including Lynbrook. As we can see, this robot climb stairs and collect these beepers. We can do a bunch of interesting things by CarrotJ robot to find the treasure, or 2 or 3 robots compete to find the treasures. We're going to use this in our Java programming class. We browsed a few questions you put in registration. For example, an 11th grader is going to take AP Computer Science class and did not take 1-year Java programming class before. In this case, our Java programming class is good to do before your junior year. Usually, it is not good to enter APCS class without prior solid Java programming experience. APCS teacher may assume most students have taken 1-year Java programming before. For another question, for middle schooler, what programming language to recommend? Java would be good. In our Java programming class, we guide students about analytical thinking skill. Your logic thinking is important for coding, and help students explore the problem by meaningful test cases. Also, we break down complex problems into smaller, more manageable parts. In our class, students will gain hands-on experience. This is important part of our class, our coding class. Students are going to learn by doing. Next page, please. For every class, we do a coding assignment. Student turn in coding work to our site, and we do testing and keep track of progress. We're gonna teach object-oriented programming, class and objects, inheritance and polymorphism, and so on. Some data structure and algorithm, if they might, if say, you might consider a next stage doing some coding competition such as user code, then this help lay good foundation for you. We also encourage group discussion. We encourage the student to express their thought about coding. C++ runs fast. In a bunch of distributed computing in TensorFlow, C++ is used. Say TensorFlow developed by Google for machine learning. Massive computation needed for machine learning. And as Cindy mentioned, C++ are also used for a bunch of robotic. Say this quadcopter control, also done by C++. In this video, this geometry is true for San Francisco City. You see the road, Davis Street, and so on, and these building geometry are real. And how to control 4 rotors of the quadcopter is done by C++. This simulation also done by C++, applying a bunch of physics concepts. If say this rotor does not work in the right way, it will hit the building and crash on the ground. So roughly a bunch of a project which require high speed, then that may be done in C++. Also, C++ is used in self-driving car to collect a massive amount of data about the surrounding environment and make decision quick. C++ has a rich library, and so does Java. They both are good for competition programming. And the class style of our C++ programming class similar to Java class. Next page, please. One significant thing about C++ is pointer address and memory management. This relate to high speed C++ program can achieve. And we will teach this part with more work. As usual, in our class, we encourage a group discussion. You won't feel alone in the class. Cindy, probably you may mention a few things why use code and the use code as SpringLight.
Yeah, I'll talk about those use code, which is the use code Computing Olympiad. This is probably a lot of people heard about that, the math competition, the physics useful, and chemistry, bio competition. Use code is the same as the others. It's also a national or international. The high level is International Olympiad in Informatics, which is IOI. All those are same considers for the admin officers, which is a lot of people will easily to get it in our Bay Area part and also with our classes. And at SpringLight, we start the year USICO classes start from the year 2013. The good thing in our school's class is all the teachers are taking the USICO test before by themselves, all of them. And the textbooks that we're using is self-written by our teachers, and with every year's different accumulation, we have a really good textbook. And we have very small classes, and the result for our classes is really good. As long as you follow your teacher's instructions, do your homeworks, I know everybody got to the very good levels. And for the USICOs, they're USICO bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and even the finalist. And I will ask Teacher Huang to talk about that in details.
All right, thank you. Every year, more than 100,000 students take AP Computer Science exam. But for students who want to distinguish themselves in this field, they participate in USICO. USICO contests are offered in 4 levels from low to high: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. It's like Olympic gold, silver, bronze. On top of gold, they add platinum, the top level. All participants start in the bronze level, and those who score well in the contest will be promoted to the next level up. They allow more people to pass bronze because they try to attract more people to participate in USICO. Silver and gold levels are different. For January and February contests this year, for silver level, they allow about 60 US high school students to pass. And for gold level, they allow about 40 students to pass. If you think you have some talent and interest on coding and do consistent work for USICO, bronze should be not too hard to pass. Silver and gold level are more challenging. For each contest, they post the promotion result on public web. That is an honor roll. Also, college admission committee can easily check public web to see which student advanced to what level in the contest. For each school year, USICO opens in December. There will be 1 contest in the months: December, January, February, March. 4 contests in the year. Then weighted scores are added, and about 30 top high school students are finalists to go to a training camp in late May. A contest that takes 4 hours. Students register and do the contest at home. Over a weekend, the contest opens in the afternoon on Friday and is closed 2 hours after midnight of Monday. Students can pick favorable 4 hours to do the contest. It must be.
This is the year 2019 to 2020's finalist. You can see most of are from the California part, and I know at least 3 of the students are from SpringLight.
Yes, some achievement, SpringLight students, good for them. We mentioned students can pick favorable 4 hours to do a contest. It must be continuous 4 hours or that weekend. There are 3 coding problems in the USICO contest. Each problem has 10 to 20 test cases. Full score is 1,000. Based on students' performance, they set cutoff line. For example, participants with score above 800 may be promoted to 1 level up. A good part of USICO is that participants' levels continue over years. It does not start from the beginning level every year. For example, if you win a silver contest in March and advance to gold level, then in December next school year, you are at gold level to do gold contest. If you are a middle school student, when you register for USACO, be careful to put the graduation year as expected high school graduation year, not middle school graduation year. Next page, please. We have a bunch of successful cases. Cindy mentioned some. I can mention a recent one. In January to March this year, we did a USACO Silver class. At the beginning, Eric joined our class. Last December, Eric passed bronze, kind of barely passed, and at the beginning he fared difficult about these silver problems, and we guided him to break barriers, enhance thinking. Logic thinking about these contest coding problems. Also, he worked hard to review first every week, review knowledge we did in class and problem-solving skills first, then do new coding assignment. Then, week by week, he successfully raised his skills. In March contest, he passed and advanced to gold level. After that, he and his parents are happy. His mom sent an email to us. I just read quickly. I can tell Eric made very good progress and improved dramatically in his problem-solving techniques in your class. There is a significant gap between USACO and high school CS coursework. USACO is more difficult. And in our class, we kind of fill up that gap and teach students needed data structure and algorithm beyond usual high school CS work. In our USACO classes, we do effective logic thinking. Hands-on experience also important. Students are going to learn by doing in our class. We encourage a group discussion. To participate in the USACO or not is up to you. Say, IBM sponsor ever to USACO ever said, let me just quote her words. Brenda Chow in IBM, a sponsor of USACO, says, for the students, programming competitions are extracurricular activities they do because they love to, not they have to. However, say for students who participate and be able to advance, then this helps distinguish them in this field, as we mentioned. We browse a few questions you put in registration. One question Learn Java first, then musical bronze. Is this the right sequence? Yes, this is a good sequence. For example, for an 8th or 9th grader, our Java programming class, then musical bronze class might be good for you. Although you may take Java programming and the APCS class at high school, you probably do not want to wait that long. In this case, later, you may still consider taking Java programming at high school. That will keep you warm up and gain more coding experience. Hands-on coding is important. From our experience in the past, during musical competition season, from December to March in a school year, if a student is currently taking coding class at the high school, either Java programming or APCS, that definitely helps increase the student's winning chance in musical. If you have achieved musical silver or gold, we have musical silver and gold classes starting on May 23rd to help reduce barriers, enhance logic thinking and skills, and gain hands-on experience. Also, we encourage group discussion. You are not alone facing difficult challenge. Next page, please. There are a few other programming competitions such as ACSL, Stanford Proco, and so on. These two, ACSL and Stanford Proco, need a team, say ACSL timeframe roughly like USACO. By December, SpringLight might consider forming a team to participate in ACSL. Google and Facebook, these are probably more challenging. Say this not only for high school student, also for a college student and software engineer in workplace. Cindy, would you like to add a few comments?
Sure. At SpringLight, every year we have a lot of students who taking our Java and other programming classes, and we will definitely consider to form a team to help the student to take this kind of the test. And USACO is a very popular one that everybody knows, and actually a lot of students who just passed their USACOs, they're thinking, you know, they want to go to the higher levels competitions. These are the things that we will consider, and then we will ask them to maybe to take on. And we have very good resources, and a lot of students can working together to, you know, participate this kind of the competitions. Especially, I want to talk about one thing, the girls programming leagues. And this, I really suggested for the girls who just, you know, have more interested for the programmings and very at young ages, they can start with this programming contest, and then they may have more interest to working on, you know, as a programmers later on, or study CS at the colleges. The things as everybody knows, you know, with the current status, and really, if you know more, you probably later on may not work for as a programmer directly, or if you know something about the programmer, you may have more widely with your job openings, you know. So this is a good opportunities for let the kids start to exploring it, and who knows, they may like it. And as my experience, and the women programmer is as a good career for girls is really good. And here
yeah.
are the APCSA and APCS principles test. I will ask the Mr. Huang to continue us about that.
Sure, thank you. This is a regular APCS exam. Of course, we know this year coronavirus situation a little bit different. However, the regular APCS exam, half multiple choice, 40 questions for 1.5 hours, and the other half free response, 1.5 hours for coding, mainly FRQ. They ask students to do Java coding. This usually is say that Java coding FRQ is the challenging part for students. Here's a table about past years. As we can see, roughly they give about 20 to 25% for Phi. In past years, before up to 2009, there were APCS AB and A. A is a little bit harder than A. Later year, say from 2010 to present, only APCS A.
I want to add one more thing here. So as Mr. Huang says, start from year 2009, the year APCS AB is the final year, and now is the year APCS A only, which is a little bit easier than APCS AB. But currently, a lot of schools in our school district and in our area, like Limburg or Monte Vista, they are still teaching APCS AB, even
yes.
though there's only APCS A test.
Yes, yes. Say, for example, Limburg and Monte Vista, their APCS class still teach heap priority queue in Java. That's a previous AB material. Yeah, they still teach these a little bit more advanced material in APCS class.
That is really good for taking the later on USCO test.
Yeah. However, still, even with that, there is still a significant gap. Our USCO classes, 3 separate classes, bronze, silver, and gold, would be good to fill up that gap between usual APCS at high school and the level required for USCO competition. Go on. Oh, here's class schedule. A few coding classes at SpringLight gonna start in the week of May 27. We're gonna do a Java programming class, 12 classes, 2.5 hours per class. We have 3 classes per week and 2 classes per week. And we're gonna do 1 C++ programming class. As Cindy mentioned, that would be good for robotic. And we have 3 USCO classes, bronze, silver, and gold, starting on the weekend, May 23rd. I think that's a typo. May 23rd to August 1st. Say 1 class a week on Saturday afternoon. Here's a bonus. The instructor will be available 15 minutes before and after each class to answer questions. Say 15 minutes before, when students do coding assignment between classes, then get stuck at some point, then the student may enter online classroom minutes before regular class starting time. For example, our Java programming Monday, Wednesday, Friday go from 4 to 6:30. Then student may enter online classroom at 3:45 to ask question. Also, after the class, say at 6:30, I will stay in online classroom for 15 minutes more to answer your question, say in the class, say some part is still not clear. Also, yeah, and in 15 minutes after the class, I may talk with you or say a parent. Yeah, go on. Cindy, go on.
Yeah, so let's talk about the year APCS principal test. As probably people will know, and start from the year 2017, the AP College Board add a new classes called APCS Principles. Here is the test formats. You can see from there is asking you not only to take the classes, you need to probably doing some kind of the works before you can take the test. There are 2 performance tasks you need to finish, and then you can take the test to have the single selected multiple choice and multiple selected multiple choices. As we know, these APCS principle class test is basically the distinguish between the APCS principle and APCSA is this is belong to the science part, as we mentioned earlier, and APCSA is belong to the math test categories. So this APCS principle classes mainly is talking about the CS principles. Is probably for people who know the CS, like the method or the things, but not the coding part, as you know. If people just want to know a little bit, I suggest them to take the classes. But if the student who really want to explore what the real coding it is, I prefer them to take the APCSA test. Not this one.
May I add some comment about our say APCS class at SpringLight in spring this year? A bunch of students made significant progress. I can mention one example. Say at the beginning when Alison joined, she's in a little bit shaky state and even consider not taking APCS exam in May. However, on the way, we help solve a bunch of barriers and say help her to enhance on all these APCS materials and enhance her coding ability. And after she took APCS exam just say 2 days ago, Friday, she was happy. She was able to solve all problems and called me and told me that. So I think our APCS class this year was kind of successful. Go on, please.
Okay. Let's talk about the programming and research projects. As a parent will, or even the student will ask, what we can do after we learn the programming languages. A lot of things the student can do after they are trained by the learn the program, no matter what kind of the programming you choose to learn. And then the things we will consider is even some of our students they're doing the research projects in the artificial intelligence or deep learning or machine learning, all this looks like a kind of deep, but it's our student who, after they have the programming experience, they can do this to participate in this kind of the research projects very well. We have very good examples in our past students who are, doing this research project related and get appraised by the admin officers. Or even, we're thinking of saying, oh, well, this probably is the high school senior school student and or junior student with my middle schoolers, what we can do. They can do some simple ones after they have the programming experience. I'll just list a few here, not all of them. Say, for example, they can do some Arduino project or Raspberry Pi projects, or they can write some web or phone apps, even their personal apps, personal websites. Or this is not just considered as the later on CS major student. They can be other major student. For example, I know there are a lot of art students. They can do their own web, personal website to add their current, their person's, their creativity there. So they do their own styles to put it there. It's really good. Or some doing the robotics person who can, with the program experience, they can start to doing more works on there. Let's talk about the applying for CS majors. So this is a lot of students or even the parents will be, more interested about that. How the student apply for CS major doing. So there include the classes with the high schoolers and or out of the high school's classes. Even the, the colleges will, that who with their top ranking colleges or just the CS majors top colleges, CS major ranking colleges, they're different when they applies. We will consider the not only the classes and also the research projects or even your all these extra curriculums and or your leaderships is one of the things we will consider about that. College essay. College essay is more important because this is the only places that you can show the admin officers what's your personality it is, to show them, what kind of person you are. So this is very important for you when you apply for the colleges. A lot of parents will be think about that. If I learn all those things, is it too overqualified for certain colleges? As I told you, before Mr. Huang talked about that, more and more people who taking USICOs or APCS test now. So currently is more popular. So the programming is, even the USICO test is never, I don't think it's more qualified for certain kind of the colleges who want to apply for the CS major. Or even some questions about what's the CS between the EECS. EECS is more popular with the UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley will separate that CS with the ECS major. So basically, currently a lot of students, even though they're in Berkeley ECS, they are still more focusing on the CS part. So it's really, all this when they apply for the CS major, no matter what kind of the detail majors it is, I think we need to focusing on the students, what's their interest in it is. We need to apply for that according to different students' the interest, not like the parents saying, hey, I think this is good, so just apply. So the student is the main things who will learn later on at the university. And US university system is want to take a person, they will consider not only the major that CS, they will consider that all your personalities, like the I mentioned before, the extracurriculums and your leadership, your school's classes, and your everything, they will consider as a whole profile when you apply that. For CS related major, what kind of the CS related majors? Like a lot of students currently saying they take some programs, they will think about that all this, like apply math or data science, information systems, even bioinformation, all this are, you know, they are CS related majors, and also they need the programming experience. If you have the programming experience to apply for this kind of the majors, it's really good. Here is our question and questions Q&A for that when people register for the for our webinars. I will just read these questions. I'll see if we can give you the answers. The first one is, any online Java or computing programming beginner intermediate courses available for high school student? This is that is for credit and acceptable to CSU and UC system. So as I mentioned before, the classes, so different classes is for different categories of the UC or CSU system. Whether the classes is acceptable by the CSU or UC system is depending on what kind of the school. The school need to apply for, you know, the to see if UC acceptable for their school, not the classes itself. So we need to consider that schools have the abilities or meet the requirement by the UCs or CSU's systems. Number two, do you have one-on-one tutor for USCO high-level competition? I'll ask Teacher Huang to talk about that.
We have a USCO Gold class starting on Saturday, May 23rd. You might consider that. If you prefer one-on-one tutor, yeah, you can talk to Sherry or me. Yeah, we can figure out the situation, which way better for you.
Okay, number three, how can I prepare my son to apply to top CS colleges for computer science major? Can you give us idea of successful applicants, math and CS related EC profile for schools such as CMU, SCS, MIT, etc.? As I talked before, so when the colleges trying to get the student is not only for the CS, they not only see your CS, what you do for that, they will consider you as a whole. This is really big questions. We will see, like, even though like another student successfully got into, it doesn't mean it's the same train as your student. Every student is unique. If you want to know your students, if is ready to apply for the colleges, and you can talk with us in details about that. I won't, you know, talk in details here. Number four, how getting competition for programming? Can Teacher Huang, can you answer that?
Say a student register online and do the competition at home. Say one competition, for example, USCO, one competition a month from December to March, 4 contests a year. Then say over a weekend competition time, student can pick 4-hour period. It must be continuous 4 hour. Just logging to do 3 coding problem. Then based on the score, a few days later, usually they are quick. Say the result come out within 1 week.
Okay, the next one, how to promote students involved in programming. Can you answer that too?
Sure. Recently I read an article by Joshua Winston in December 2019. The title is coding fun or boring? And I can read some of his quote. Just one moment. He said, coding is not hard, but finding the right place to start can be. I totally agree with him on this. Not appropriate introduction class may make a student fear kind of tend to boring side. However, our class we always do step by step guide a student to learn coding. In most of our classes, we kind of help raise a student interest on coding. Yeah, I suppose in our class, students tend to the other say coding is fun. Go on, please.
Okay. So number 6, if student is already on Java track, should he learn C, C++, Python while in high school? How to get selected in top 20 CS program? Should student opt for CSE or CS? How to differentiate in CS while in high school? How important is CS teacher recommendation? So basically, as we already mentioned, if it's already on track, and then we'll see what's your goal it is. If your goal it is just doing the competitions, and then Java should be easy enough. If you want to do some robotics, and C++ or Python is better than Java at this moment. And how to get in the top schools or CS teacher related, all this it is as I said, is different student is have different background, and then we need to thinking him as the unique part to help him go to different programs. Is depending on his own interest for sure. We can talk in details if you want to go on with us. Number 7, is AP Computer Science more important or competition more important for college admission? As we talk about AP Computer Science or APCS A, that is just a little bit brown levels. I think it's past brown levels. So if the musical competition, if you go to like silver, gold, and others, that will be definitely more important to help you to college admissions. Number 8, very interested in knowing how program language and or attending USCO could help students distinguish themselves in college application in areas related to arts, design, multimedia. Yeah, so currently with a lot of computer with other subjects together, we do a lot of works together, and even the colleges may have different majors. For example, the HCI majors, as I know, as the major require for both art and the CS. So you definitely need to know the both programming and arts portfolio. If you have this better background for program languages, and also you have doing very good at your art or design works, it definitely help you. Of course, the colleges want to get the people to know both areas best. Number 9, what junior student can do in the summer if they want to apply for CS as the major in colleges not have or only few CS related extracurriculums activities. Oh, this is, as I said, when you apply for the CS as a major, they will not only look at your CS extracurriculums, they also look at your other curriculums as a person. So we can talk in detail about the student one by one. Number 10, which languages is best for beginner, regular 7th grader with no programming experience to start with, Python, C++, or other? We already talked about that earlier. So basically, if with a 7th grader with no experience, Python or Java, I think both are good, depending on student, what they want to do later on, or what kind of the student he is or she is. And next are some Chinese questions. I'll try to translate it if it is. So how, number 11, how do we programming we already talked about promote that programming, the analysis. Number 12, it is, yeah, we'll talk about that too. So for the art or design student, the college, the CS programming is useful, it is. Number 13, want to study CS in the high school, does he need to take APCS? This is, we will see. APCS, you can take the classes at school, or you can take the classes at our side and then take the APCS test, or even the other, the competitions. It doesn't mean you need to take the classes at your high school. Number 14, if you want to apply for good colleges, what kind of the AP you need to take? Well, this is also College Board offered, I believe, more than 20 AP tests. It doesn't mean you need to take all of them. Some are the important, some are not. So we will see. It's depending on different students. We'll take different AP tests, but some core tests, some core AP, everybody need to take. Number 15, so how do we choose between Java or C++? We talk a lot about that. Number 16, well, this is interesting. It says if the students, the math is not that good, can he learn the programming? And also said 99% mathematics cannot write the program. So
let me answer. Just
interesting.
Say, usually, say, as we mentioned, to be able to think about this challenging coding problem effectively, analysis ability is important. Logic thinking is important. Then say your school math training will help on this. On the other hand, say for a student who consistently think about this challenging coding problem and then raise this logic thinking, then that will also help say school maths. So I think coding and math at school or say other math competition kind of enhance each other. Just the student do consistent work on one side, it will help the other. Yeah, they kind of help each other.
Okay. This is about that. So do we have new question and answer questions on our current webinar? Sherry?
I already answered a few.
Oh, okay.
In the chat.
So, okay, great. Then here is our classes. Here I can show you our contact informations and then our phone numbers. If you want to talk in detail or you want to get something, you can search everything from our website, springlighteducation.com. And here is our computer science, their classes. Let me go there. Yeah. Okay, here is our classes and then registration. Every register, every classes register is from here. You can just click on here to register. Here is the classes, so you can see what kind of the classes we provided. We have R and Java programming, C++, use codes, and APs and everything. So Pythons, and then okay, go by your own and choose whatever you think is good for you to explore it and then to get it. Okay, thank you so much. Sherry.
Hello. There's a question about the teacher. I also wondering about the teachers.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. What do you like to know? Hello. Yeah. What do you like to know about teachers?
I mean, who will be their teacher for the classes?
I am the teacher. This is Philip Huang.
Okay, for the all classes.